Hello, guys.
How's it going, everybody?
We're talking about how bad our quality is sometimes. It's so bad.
No, I'm sorry, guys. We kind of forgot to upload the videos. So you 16 subs out there, we thank you very much for
Isn't
being
it 17
loyal.
now?
Oh, it's already 17.
Oh, you 17.
Let's go. So by the time this video gets posted, we should be at like 20.
Advertise for us.
Yes, very much so, please.
Cole, I'm looking at you, buddy. Not that you've watched this or anything, but be like, hey guys, subscribe to them. Don't watch them, just subscribe.
Right, you know, it doesn't matter. We just care about the number.
Yeah.
And you know, we really do want to have an impact on the Star Wars universe. Our opinions are very much so valid. So maybe one day some of the Star Wars directors will come up and be like, hey, these guys know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Let's go and throw one of these weird things into the sequels. Who knows?
We'll be the next Star Wars theory.
Right.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be.
Can't wait for the Vader fan film to come out.
Oh yeah.
1 week. Comes out on the 20th, the
Yep.
13th, right? Oh yeah, 1 week.
That's gonna be good.
Hmm?
So I sent Jacob a meme. I think you guys want to see this. Apparently, the voice of Darth Vader, like the guy that does that, forget his name, went to California and started like talking on trucker radios, and people started getting like so freaked out about it that he had to stop doing it. Like, just imagine like just being on the radio talking with some truckers, and all of a sudden like somebody like in Darth Vader's voice just starts like talking.
Your lack of mileage. If you could be any character from the universe, which one?
Like any character?
Any character ever mentioned, Legends, canon, old Clone Wars, anything.
Like be in their situation or like have their powers?
Be them.
Like be them?
You are them. Like, you know who you were before. You know you're Alex, but now you're them, and you get to like experience what they up to.
That's a good question. I feel like Obi-Wan's life would be like probably the coolest. Or General Grievous.
Oh,
That would be a lot of fun.
that would be pretty fun.
That would be intense.
Yeah.
I think that Obi-Wan would be a lot of fun as well. Anakin would just be all over the place.
Oh yeah.
You basically just get to live another regular life, except you're awesome and a Jedi.
Yeah. Doing episode 3 with Anakin would be cool.
Oh yeah, that would.
Declaring that the fun begins.
That fun begins.
That'd be something fun.
But like, imagine just like, you know, being able to just chill with some budget droids, and you're just like, nah, I'll try spinning. That's a good trick, you know?
Yeah. It's like, let me just shoot at my master and not blow him up.
Right.
Like, that's pretty cool.
Which, I mean, I think that leads us into our next thing that we were planning on discussing today. Generation Tech, they're pretty awesome. They were doing a few videos on like good qualities and bad qualities about Starfighter. So we were talking about just doing a quick versus series for today. Talking about how different Starfighters would do against each other, or just which one's better, like in general. Because like obviously a V-Wing would have a better chance against a ARC 170 just because it's an interceptor.
V-Wing.
A V-Wing.
What's a V-Wing?
You've never heard of a V-Wing.
I've never heard of a V-Wing.
All right. In episode 3, you know, towards the very end, those the Starfighter that comes out of the Jedi Cruiser that's being transformed into a like just the blank Jedi Cruiser that's all gray. Remember that at the very end of episode 3? Remember the gray Jedi Star?
Like after he turns into
Yeah,
Vader?
after like basically at the last minute.
Okay, so when he's starting to look at the Death Star.
Yeah, so like right before that, when we see the gray Jedi.
Okay, I don't pay attention to that like little snippet. I guess I'm always like thinking about when he's about to walk up to Palpatine.
Right. Yeah. I know. Like I think of the same thing. The only reason why is it's in Battlefront 2.
Okay.
So yeah, the V-Wing is the clone interceptor. If you guys didn't know about that, we're going to be bringing up things head to head, and then also seeing which one's just a better thing to fill out its role in general. So this is an interesting one. The LAT gunship versus the droid gunship. Which one do you think would win in a 1v1?
Okay, so the droid gunship, that's the one with like the round circle.
Yeah, the round. Yeah, and it's got like a million missiles.
Yeah. 1v1. So are they coming out like they just like one starts here, one starts, and they just come at each other?
Right. Yeah.
I think if the Republic gunship was fully armed, you know, with the lasers on the front, the big ones on the top, and the ones on the side, I think. What kind of weapons does the other one have? It's probably about the same.
It's got. I'm pretty sure it might even have proton torpedoes on it. It's got those 2 heavy laser cannons on it. along with basically a bunch of guided missiles. Like there's concussion missiles and regular, just straight up missiles. So personally, I think that they'd both just kill each other.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about this because like Star Wars is weird, like how it just has like untracking, like it just has like line of sight fire.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have like nukes.
Yeah.
So I think that they both just fire their missiles at each other. The droid gunship has shields, but it wouldn't be able to withstand, belt-fed rocket launchers because I mean they're belt-fed rocket launchers.
Yeah.
And then the clone gunship just get shredded.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was gonna say it really depends on who fires first.
Right.
Fires the most, because I feel like the clones, they'd shoot out the belt-fired rockets, and then once they saw that they're being shot, they'd probably go into evasive maneuvers while having the laser cannons on the front that are manned just trained onto them.
Okay, I'd agree with that. I think that's pretty legitimate observation.
I think it'd be really evenly matched. Either die right away, or the clones would either be destroyed or come out ahead. Just depends on if they can avoid.
And plus the droid gunship has more maneuverability. So if we're talking about just like outrunning them, I think that they would have a better chance to do that. So that's a good point. Because I mean, when we talk about like stuff that we use like a modern day technology wise, like naval battles, if there's a missile coming at you, you use a rapid fire battery, so a laser would be much more effective.
Yeah.
But if you caught it, then it would just explode. So that's
yeah.
All right, so which one do you think fulfills its role better as a gunship?
Can the droid one, does it carry troops?
Yeah, it has. They can carry super battle droids and regular battle droids in the back, and I think you can get like 30 of them.
Okay.
So
I don't know. You don't really. At least I don't ever really see the droid gunships that often.
Right.
But you always see the Republic ones coming in with buttloads of troops carrying the big walkers.
Right.
Carrying everything. I don't know. I just see the gunships used a lot more than the droids. So probably those ones.
All right. Because the time that you really get to see them, you see them like once in season 6 of the Clone Wars, and then you also see them a few times in the season 5 episodes 2 through 5, where they're on Onderon.
Onderon.
Yeah. Remember with Saw Gerrera?
Oh yeah.
They use them there. Those are the only 2 times we really see them.
Yeah. I'm sure you probably also see them in episode 3 at Kashyyyk, I think.
Oh yeah, we do. We see them just kind of cruising by.
Yeah. Just like everything else, you just
right. Just like the Clone Turbo Tank. That's a good vehicle.
Baby boy.
So I think that the droid gunship, if we're talking about like just like getting troops in and out, just like straight up, I think that would do a better job. Just because I mean, all you just drop and go, and plus you don't have to worry about like left support or anything like that. Like a hull breach, when we're talking about space transport, would kill all the clones most likely inside of the clone gunship. But if if the shields went down on the droid, then they'd all be fine. But at the same time, the clone gunship, it's especially fitted so that it can carry ATTEs, which is a huge, like, just drop and go with tanks. Like, I mean, basically, if we're talking about like a 30v30, infantry match, and then all of a sudden there's a tank there within 15 seconds, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
So I'd say just not necessarily just because of that, but that's a big part. And then plus it can move ATRTs as well, the little chicken walker type things. So yeah, I'd say the clone gunship, just because of all the versatility of it.
Yeah,
it's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah. One more thing about the clone gunship. Some of the toys that Lucas put out, Lucasfilms, I have the gunship, and on the back there's this cord attached to this like white clip, and you can stick it onto the clone troopers and they can hang upside down. And so whenever I was playing with the toys, I'd have the clone troopers hanging upside down, shooting all the droids underneath. And now that I realize it, no clone is hanging outside of the gunship upside down.
Well, because that thing is a laser right on the very back. That's a tail gun?
I think so. But then there's also the cord below it with like, what is that for? I don't know.
You're just hanging from it, hanging himself as he's dying. He's just
hanging by his foot. I always clipped him by his foot, so he's just like upside down. Just pew, pew, pew.
Well, I mean, whatever works. So let's be honest, we've seen some crazier stuff.
Yeah. Honestly.
All right, how about this? The ARC 170 against the X-Wing. Which one do you think would win on a 1v1?
Oh, okay. Arc 170 is the one that you see in episode 3 at the beginning, right? With
Yeah,
okay, that's what I thought.
oddball.
Yeah. Version of X-Wing. I think the Arc 170s, because I don't know a lot of stats on stuff because I don't read all the stat things.
Right.
But just like based on what they're for, the Rebels didn't have top of the line stuff.
Right, that's
because
true.
they were Rebels. They just took what they could get.
Right.
So I think the Arc 170s would have the advantage of, you know, engineers working on it, making the best that it could be, and you know, you have clones that are trained to use it as well.
Right, that's true.
So probably the Arc 170s would come ahead. Also, they have a way cooler name.
That's true. That's true. I think that the Arc 170s, they have heavier shields, they have heavier weapons. They have a tail gunner. They're slower though. And plus, so the Arc 170 was labeled a reconnaissance fighter, even though it's like a huge tank. So there's no reason why it should be named one. But I think that if they were just fighting each other, I think that the X-Wing's better in dogfights. So the Arc 170 would, if it didn't get him like right away with the heavy stuff, and its tail gunner wasn't able to hit it, then the X-Wing would win hands down. But it really just depends on if their heavy cannons would be able to get there, because I mean the cannons on that thing are like very much so high caliber, but they don't like fire as fast.
Yeah.
So I mean that means your accuracy has to be higher. But like you said, they would be piloted by clones compared to a Rebel.
Exactly.
So I'd say the X-Wing just because why not? And then, but them two as separate fighters, like which one's better at which? I'd say the Arc 170 is definitely better at like a bombardment type thing. If we're talking about taking down a gunship, like it would be better at taking down gunships. It would be better at taking down shields or turrets or anything like that, because of how heavy it is. Because I mean, it's got 3 troops and an astromech on it. I mean, you can do everything.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was about to say something, but then I realized that it doesn't make sense.
Alright, that happens.
Yeah, we're almost. That's cool. That's good.
Pretty dang quick.
Yeah, that's because we took a while to get started.
That's true.
We can figure something out real quick. Are we just doing ships?
You can change it up.
Okay. Obi-Wan in episode 3 versus Luke in episode 6. Who wins in a fight?
Oh. So they like don't know each other? Like
No, it's pretty much they need to fight each other.
So okay, so they just walk up to each other and they're just like, oh, whoever you are, you're
In my way, die.
right.
Yeah.
I feel like the battle wouldn't even really be that intense.
No.
Just because Luke, he's technically, is he a Jedi Master at this point? He's not, right?
He's definitely a knight,
Right.
but
It's outrageous and unfair.
exactly. I can't remember what Yoda tells him at the end, but I think at the end of 6 he's technically a master, mostly because he's the only Jedi left.
All right.
But he didn't like go through years of training to become it. I think he kind of just like defaulted into master.
Because he's the only one that's left.
Yeah, exactly.
So Obi-Wan, the reason why he was able to beat like Maul so quick, the reason why he was able to beat Anakin and like a lot of the people that he's beat, he just knows like their weaknesses. Not necessarily. I mean, as a sword fighter, but also as like a person. So he was able to just switch it up and hate on these people. Just because of that, like he wasn't necessarily a better fighter. So considering the fact that he doesn't know Luke at this point, he wouldn't be able to use that advantage. So he'd just sit there and play defense until he found those weaknesses. But at the same time, Luke is not good right now.
He's not.
Right, he's really
kind of trashy.
Right, like if Obi-Wan like at episode 3 were to fight Darth Vader, I think he'd have a very legitimate chance of just like killing him right there. Like I don't think that Palpatine would have taken the chance if that was Obi-Wan, because he knew how powerful he was, and he could have seen that he had a chance at like actually getting him as well, because he was old and all that whatnot.
Yeah.
I think that Obi-Wan would take it.
That's what I was thinking, because Luke never trained much with the lightsaber.
Right.
He didn't really have a teacher to anyone to teach him how to use it, so he was
Right.
more focused on turning Vader than killing him.
Right, that's true. That's very true.
And Obi-Wan he was the master of Sorsu,
Right.
which was his defense style, in case you guys
So-
don't know that.
Learn something new every day.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he like I said, he'd probably just sit there and defend himself until he figured out because I'd assume I really do think that Luke probably just fought with sequences, where it was in his head, since he was just so much younger, and plus he wasn't that experienced. He wasn't experienced at using a form or the Force with it. He would in his head he'd be like, all right, it would be right, left, down, and then a block to the right or something like that. And then Obi-Wan would eventually figure it out. So he'd be he'd swing, and then he'd change up his sequence.
Yeah.
So he'd honestly, I think that's what would end up happening.
Definitely.
So yeah.
And Obi-Wan also has more experience in lightsaber combats too.
Right, just in general, a lot.
Yeah, 3 years of fighting Grievous,
Right.
and Dooku,
And Grievous throws everything at him.
Oh yeah,
Ugh.
Grievous kind of. When you think about it, Grievous kind of sucks.
Ugh.
He's fought Obi-Wan so many times, goes all out, almost all of them,
Right.
except when Obi-Wan needs to live because plot convenience,
Right.
and he loses all the time. I mean, it
Wait,
kind
what
of
stuff are you
is.
talking about?
Clone Wars, because in episode 2 when they were rescuing Master Koth, when he's fighting him, he has him on the ground. Then it cuts to a different scene and it comes back and Obi-Wan's up.
Oh yeah,
So
I
it's
know what you're
like-
talking about.
You have 4 lightsabers, he has 1. You could have killed him,
Right.
but plot convenience. So yeah, that was our matchup for today, I guess.
All right. So let us know if you want us to keep doing these because these are fun.
They are.
I like this too. Go ahead and comment. Also, if you want us to do any more what if questions, go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe with notifications.
And let us know anything you want us to talk about.
Right. Yeah. So say goodbye to Darth Tormus.
Bye, Darth Tormix.
All right. See you guys next week.
Bye.